Today we're going to talk about what makes up a guitar chord. Welcome back to Man the Helm. If you guys don't know, my name is Jake. I'm a guitar player, but I also run a podcast called Man the Helm. Talk about life struggles, in the music industry, people that build, people that create, a whole bunch of different stuff. Check out the podcast if you are so inclined. But today we are going to check out how we actually make guitar chords. Now, in a previous video, I talked about what chords go well together utilizing the major scale. And we're going to kind of continue on that trajectory, so to speak. There are two types of chords that we are going to talk about today. We're going to talk about major chords and minor chords. Now, the simplest way to think about these chords are in groups of three, or a triad. We're going to have three notes to make up each of these chords. So let's stay in the same vein that we have been utilizing C. The first chord that we are going to talk about are major chords. Just like minor chords, we're going to utilize three notes to make that chord happen. That is going to be the 1, the 3, and the 5. Those three notes in conjunction together will make a major chord. We're going to utilize C major, and we're going to make a C major chord. So like I said, we're going to utilize the 1. The 1 is going to be the first note of that scale. So if we're playing in C, the 1 is C. If we go up our scale to 3, that's the next note we need, we have an E. Then we go 4, 5, that's going to be a G. So in order to make a C major chord, we need a C, we need an E, and we also need a G. So let's play our typical cowboy chord C major. And let's look at the notes that we're actually utilizing when we play that chord. So we have our 1, which is C, our third note, which is E, 1, 2, 3, E, and then we have this open string right here, that G. So right off the bat, we have 1, 3, 5. That is in conjunction with that C major scale. So we have 1, 3, 5. Those three notes make a C major chord. We're utilizing a triad right here where we're just utilizing three notes. But then you might be asking yourself, well, why are we playing a cowboy chord like that where I have this first fret on B and then my open E again? Well, let's look at what notes we're actually playing. So we have C, E, G. That's just a root octave. Where we started from, that is just the octave. It is just C. And then this last one, that is an octave of that third, or that E. So really, we're just playing three notes right here, two of which happen to be an octave higher. Kind of just helps fill that chord out a little bit. Now, why is this important? Well, let's say we're in the context of a band. Maybe you're an accompanying guitar player with a singer-songwriter, and that singer-songwriter has a song that they're playing and kind of just strumming along and doing that. Well, we as guitar players, especially if we're accompanying somebody, we don't want to fill up the same sonic space. If we're accompanying, we want to enhance whatever is going on in the context of that song. If they're just playing an open cowboy chord, a C major, well, we could do something where maybe we take those three notes and play them in a different spot, give it a different sort of voice, give it a different sort of vibe. So let's take a look at those three notes again. Once again, to play a C major, we need a C, we need an E, and we need a G. That is our 1, 3, and 5 out of C major scale, just as a reminder. So simplest way we could do it, okay, well, we know that C's right here. We could play that more traditional, like bar chord sort of thing. That power chord right there. Well, then we still need to have, we have that C, and we have that G, so we have our 1 and our 5. we still need to have that 3 somewhere. So where can we find that 3 at? And this is where the creative juices can start flowing, because now we can think about how we want this chord to sound. Well, we have an E right here on the 5th fret of our B string. So we could play our C, our 1, G, our 5, skip that open G string, and then play that E right here. Already you can tell it gives it a different sort of a vibe, but relatively that's still pretty close. The only thing we changed up a little bit was, instead of having root 1, 3, 5, now we're doing root, or our 1, 5, 3. But knowing that we only need to play those 3 notes, we can play those 3 notes in any combination that we'd like. Let's say instead of my 1 being the bass note, maybe I wanted the 5 to be the bass note, and I wanted it like super high up. You know, where can I find a G that's super high up? Well, there's a G right here on the 12th fret of the G string. Well, now I need to think about, where's a C and an E at this point, right? Well, I know there's an E right here on the 12th fret of my high E. And then I have B right here, so if I move it up 1/2 step, now I have that C. So now I have G, 5th, C, my 1, and E, my 3rd. But there are multiple combinations we can do with these major chords, and I'm just utilizing C because it gives you a better idea of just like, well, that's my C chord. I can also play a C major here. I could play a C major here, or I could play it like this, or this, or this. There's countless ways, once you just understand that those 3 notes are really what you need. And anything you add on top of that is just kind of adding a little bit extra. But we're really just focused on those 3, the 1, the 3, and the 5. Okay. Now let's say we wanted to play it with maybe our 3 in the root. And we wanted to still kind of have like that rhythm bassy tone, but we wanted it to be a little high too. I mean, we have an E here. We have our G right here. And we have a C right here. The point of all of this is just to give you an idea of how you can utilize basic chord shapes like so, your open chords, your bar chords, and you don't have to play them like that. You can get online and you can check out all the different inversions of all the different chords, but having just this little bit of foundational knowledge of, oh wow, I just need these 3 notes. Where can I find these 3 notes? In worst case scenario, I've done this many times. Grab yourself a headstock tuner, or if you've got a tuner on your board, have that thing on while you're looking for chords. This is going to take a little bit of time for you to kind of understand and learn where these notes are at. But it's going to do 2 really awesome things for you. One, it's going to help you memorize the fretboard. It's going to take some work, but it's not going to be one of those where it's like, okay, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. That in my mind is not very, has ever been very productive. But also what it's going to do is going to help you find interesting voicings for some of these chords that maybe if you're playing with an accompanied person playing that C major, well now we just have a plethora of ways that we can play these chords all the way up the neck, and just whatever vibe you're going for is what you can get. All right, continuing on with minor chords. So the major and minor thing I like to teach kind of in conjunction together, because really all we're doing is changing one note. So we're still going to have our 1, we're still going to have our 5. The only difference we're going to do is we're going to flat our 3rd. So if we played that normal, C major sort of triad, right? Up here where you'd play your cowboy chord. So I have my 1, and then I have that open G for my 5. This E I need to flat to make that minor. So I'm going to take that E on the 2nd fret of my D string, and move it down 1 fret. So I'm still playing that same shape, but this time instead of playing it the more traditional, that major sound, I'm flatting that third down 1 fret. Now I have that C minor. C major, C minor. Now this works in any of those voicings that we talked about already, or any one that you can come up with. Just think about, okay, if I have C, E, to play a minor I need to have that flat third, so instead of E, you'd be playing that D sharp. C major, C minor. If we played it up here, higher up, like we did with that one voicing, we have our 5, our 1, and our 3. This 3 right here needs to be flat. So down 1 fret. You can take any of those shapes that you learned for any of those chords utilizing your 1, 3, and your 5 for major chords. As long as you flat that third, you're going to have a minor chord. Same rules still apply. If you like this sort of content, you like these lesson videos, please consider subscribing. Comment down below, let me know what you liked. Comment down below even more if you didn't like something. I always like getting learned in the comments. That'll do it for today. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Pick up your guitar and get learned yourself.